I had to cover this. One of the more bizarre endings you'll see in a baseball game. A professional baseball game at that. If you missed it, the Orioles were leading by a run with 2 outs in the ninth. They were out away from winning the game. And McKenna, number 26 of the Orioles, dropped a routine fly, and that error led to a walk-off home run, which obviously gave the game to the Red Sox. And we're going to analyze everything that happened with the knowledge of gematria. And we're just going to prove just how undeniable the rigging is. So since I'm starting this video in the AM, the count for his birthday is going to be one up from when the game occurred. It's 47 days after his birthday, but the game was technically yesterday. So when he dropped the ball, giving the game away, it was 46 days after his birthday. And there's a lot to cover here. Let's start with this. Walk-off HR is 46 in the most pure cipher. Because he drops the ball that any travel high school baseball player would have no problem making, his team gives up a walk-off home run. 46 days after his birthday. He's the reason for this walk-off home run. And it gets better. He's number 26. And he's 26 years old. He had a big drop. And drop is 53. Boston Red Sox. Is 53 in the most pure cipher. So drop 53. And 26 years old, number 26, drop equals 26, which leads to the walk-off HR, which equals 46, and it's 46 days after his 26th birthday. And the pitcher who is pitching for the Orioles, who gives up the walk-off home run. We'll get to who hit the home run for Boston. But let's just break it down some more. Bautista was pitching for the Orioles, and he's number 74. Walk-off is 74. Walk-off is 74, and notice walk-off is 29. And who hit the walk-off home run? Who hit the walk-off home run? Adam Duvall, 209 days after his birthday. Like 29, 29. He gets the walk-off, 29. And you just see how scripted it is. This has to happen to make that happen to make this happen. They have it down to a damn science. And all by the numbers. 80% of the things that, maybe even higher than that, it's going to be in these left two ciphers. The ciphers Manly P. Hall teaches in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And this is the other, I've talked about it before, the other half of the code. And it's mostly going to be in these left two ciphers. And then this is the other half of the code. And they use that a lot too. But most of the stuff is going to be in these two ciphers. And a lot in this dark blue cipher. Because it's the most pure cipher of gematria. But the 4 base ciphers, they all matter. Learn the 4 base ciphers. Don't worry about really any other ciphers. It's really not that necessary to learn a lot of these other ciphers. Jewish gematria, but on this calculator it's called Latin. That you'll sprinkle in that like 5% of the time, maybe, well, yeah, probably about 5% of the time. But a lot of these ciphers, they're just made up ciphers from the guy who made the calculator. And it's a good calculator, but I'm telling you, these 4 base ciphers are where it's at. And so number 74 gives up the walk-off. And to the guy 209 days after his birthday. Let's go back to, was there anything else with this? Let's go back to the pitcher, Bautista. It was 285 days after his birthday. So I believe that means it was 80 days till his upcoming birthday. So it's 80 days. He gets completely screwed because his player drops the ball. So he gives up the walk-off. He should have had 3 outs. And he gets completely jobbed 80 days from his birthday. And look, Baltimore Orioles is 80 in that most pure cipher. And what else did I covered the pitcher, Duval. I think I've covered. Yep, I covered Duval. I covered McKenna. 209, that means that since it was 209 after his birthday, like 29, how long until it was 156 days till his upcoming birthday. Nothing really there. But I mean, we've covered it all. We've completely just covered it all. It was because it was 209 days after his birthday. I just try and like go above and beyond, and really I shouldn't do that because you can just make the point already with like we've already made the point. But just to see how scripted it could be, it would make sense to see, alright, it's 209 after. So is there anything with? Because they'll do that a lot. It'll be perfect with the days after or the span, and it'll be perfect to the upcoming. And let's see. Yep, just completely scripted and just crazy. He's gonna drop the ball. It's like They're making millions of dollars. It's just so stupid that these players can play a game and make that much money. That's just retarded. That can happen. And it's just fucking stupid. But, yeah, the Orioles getting completely jobbed today. And it wasn't good for the Orioles having their numbers today, because Baltimore Orioles 80. 80 days from Bautista's birthday. But it was April 1st, and Baltimore 41. And in college basketball, yeah, I'm sure this was a coincidence. Skull and Bones equals 41. It's 4-1. And Jim Larinaga, his 149th loss. And what's Skull and Bones have to do with it? Well, Skull and Bones is in Connecticut. And Skull and Crossbones is their logo. And it's 2023, like 223. And let's go back to Skull and Bones. UConn has this really good player, Newton. And they were talking about how he transferred from ECU, East Carolina. And they're the Pirates. So you get the transfer from the Pirates in this season about Skull and Bones. But yeah, it's a Yale secret society. And Yale is in Connecticut. And now UConn is gonna, in all likelihood, get their 31st win in the championship game on 4-3. And Yale 43. And it's just going to show you the secret societies run it all. And Larinaga, Miami's coach, he made his second Final Four. This was his second Final Four. And the first Final Four he made was with George Mason 17 years ago. The word Mason equals 17. And it was Masonry. Modern Freemasonry was established in the year 1717. And Mason is 17 in the most pure cipher of Gematria. None of this stuff's a coincidence. It's evidence of how perfect they have the board. And since people are like, what code are you talking about? Nothing can go against their plan, because you have people that don't even realize there is a great master plan. But he did it with George Mason, Larinaga did. And the reason why he was even in the Final Four was because of his player Miller, who scored 17 for Miami against 27, who scored 27 for Miami to get past Texas last weekend. And he didn't miss from the floor. And he was a George Mason transfer. So the George Mason transfer helps Larinaga get to his second Final Four and first in 17 years. And secret societies, Masonry, Skull and Bones, the Jesuits, the Jesuits are the Illuminati. And if you do your research, you'll come to the same conclusion. This isn't groundbreaking stuff when you have all the facts. But in that Texas-Miami game, Miami scored 45 Texas scored 45 in the first half, and that was a clue that Miami was going to come back to win. And they scored 36 in the second half, did Texas. And 3 out of the 4 Miami numbers hit that game because, like I just said, Miller, their star player, had 27 points, the George Mason transfer, and was perfect. He didn't miss a shot or a free throw. So, we covered a lot, and we're just going to leave it there for now. And peace.